Hi everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Long time no see. So how are you? I hope everything is fine now. I know for a fact how terrible the situation was last week because of the Typhoon Ulysses. Let's just pray that 2020 ends without any other typhoon anymore this coming days, and that 2021 will be a better year for all of us. So for this week, we will be dealing with week 5 English lessons. Are you ready now? Well then, let's begin. Alright, let's begin. So this is English 7, Quarter 1, Week 5. Still, it's a learning activity sheet. For this week, the learning competency will be to use direct and reported speech appropriately in varied contexts. So we have here important terms: direct and reported speech, or direct and indirect speech, and then we will be using these speeches in different contexts. Let's begin. Language can be viewed as a set of cues that modulate the comprehender's thought processes. It is very subtle instrument. Would it have made a difference, in other words, if the writer had used indirect speech rather than direct speech? The fact that the two different forms exist suggests that they serve different functions in linguistic communication. So both direct and indirect speech have their own functions and may mean different things depending upon how we use them. Communication cannot be separated to human beings, that's true. If there's one thing that is unique among us human beings, that is, we know how to communicate. Other entities in the world, like animals, insects, we really do not know if they communicate with one another. But one thing for sure, we humans can communicate either verbally, through words, spoken words, or could be also non-verbally, through gestures, facial expressions, and so on. It is very vital or very important that in our everyday lives to communicate with people around us. Remember that no man is an island. We cannot live without communicating with other people. We must face the fact that we existed in this world to communicate and to, how should I say this one? To talk and to have a conversation with other people. It is used to speak out our ideas and to build a good relationship with our neighbors, definitely. That's why it's communication. Communication consists of a receiver and a sender and a message. So the sender gives a message, the receiver receives it, and then the process continues. Okay? Now, one of the important things that we must employ in communication is the use of direct and indirect speech, whether written or spoken language. Direct speech, we say things directly most of the time. We put words in our quotations, we quote words, words from us or words from other people. Also, in an everyday conversation, we also do indirect speech. We share to other people what we have heard from other people. So these two speeches are really important. Now, here is the difference between the two. So when we say reported speech, so it's reported, it's indirect already, it's being told already. It's a sentence that expresses the content of a statement without quoting, just like what is done in direct speech. So basically, when we say direct speech, it is quoted. So there are quotation marks used. On the other hand, when we say reported speech, we no longer use these inverted commas or quotation marks. Okay? It is also known as indirect speech. We are referring to reported speech. Reported speech is also known as indirect speech. Let's have an example. Trina replied that they had wanted to plant trees in that area. So notice that there are no inverted commas or quotation marks anymore. Okay? And later on, we'll talk about how we structure an indirect or reported speech. Now, to change a direct speech to a reported speech and vice versa, you need to take note of the following important details. So make sure these details are considered when we transform an indirect to direct or vice versa, direct to indirect. 1. Tense of verb. Is it present? Is it present continuous? Is it past? Is it past perfect? Is it past continuous? And so on. Next, let us consider the pronouns. Who are talking? Who are being talked about? So when we consider them, we would know what certain words we will use when we transform one speech to the other speech. Example, we change I, depending on the gender, to he or she. Okay? Now let's look closely to this chart and learn how to change tense of verbs and pronouns, especially when transforming direct to indirect or reported speech below. So we have here direct speeches. So when we say direct speeches, we don't change any word. We just put the exact statement inside quotation marks or inverted commas, and then there's comma here, and then said, and then who said it or who told it. Example, I like wearing heels, comma, said Shira. Okay, let me erase first. Then, Timmy told Gia. What did Timmy and Gia tell? Quotation, my friend wanted to eat at a restaurant. Next, for future, I will enroll next school year, said Haley. And lastly, present continuous, I am playing Mobile Legends, shouted the boy. Okay? Let's start with present simple. Why is it present simple? Like is in its present tense. Okay? There's no letter S because the subject is I. So the one talking is I. Who is I? Shira. So consider the pronoun. So I must be for, when you convert it, when you transform it, you must use a pronoun for Shira. So it's a girl. So you will use she. She, okay? On the other hand, the verb is like, so present. So when we report present, simple present tense, we convert it to simple past tense. Okay, let's try. So when we say this one, we start with the subject and the verb. Shira said, and then we add that. So we insert that. Shira said that. Okay, instead of I, we convert it to a pronoun appropriate for Shira. So we will use the third person, she. Shira said that she, and then we convert like, simple present, make it past. Liked wearing heels, period. So your reported speech is, Shira said that she liked wearing heels. So you consider the pronoun so that you would know, learn the gender so that you would know what pronoun is the most appropriate. And then if it's simple present, you just convert it into its simple past. Now take note how to convert present tenses to past tense. Remember whether if it is a regular or an irregular verb. Okay? Next, let's proceed to past simple. Now, on the other hand, when we convert past simple to past perfect, to reported speech, we make it past perfect. Okay? So, same, consider the subject. Okay? The pronouns. Timmy told Gia. So, Timmy is the one being talked about here. Timmy told Gia. What did Timmy tell? My friend wanted to eat at a restaurant. So, the pronoun my here refers to Timmy. So, when we convert it to reported speech, it will become his because it's for male. So, my friend. His friend. You would say his friend. On the other hand, the verb in the quotation is wanted. So, it's in simple past. So, when we convert it to reported speech, it will become past perfect. How do we make past perfect? We use had plus the past participle form of the verb. So what is the past participle form of wanted? Still, it's wanted. Okay? So take note, same with the first one. Remember whether if it is a regular or an irregular verb so that you would know how to transform them. Okay? So we start with the subject. Timmy told Gia. So Timmy told Gia what? That, we insert that again. That, and then instead of my friend, it will become his because we are referring to Timmy. That his friend had wanted to eat at a restaurant. Okay? Timmy said that Timmy told Gia that his friend had wanted to eat at a restaurant. So there's had already because it is in indirect speech. Excuse me. Okay. Next is future simple. Okay. So future simple is we're using a verb in its simple future. So it's either will or shall plus base form of the verb. So when we convert this one, same, look for the pronouns. I will enroll next school year. Who is talking? Said Haley. So Haley is talking. So Haley, so most probably female. So we will use she. And then when we convert will enroll here, we will not change enroll. We will just change the auxiliary verb or the modal, the helping verb will. So will become would. Okay? So your sentence will become Haley said and then that. I will become she. She and then will become would. Would enroll next school year. Okay? Get it? And lastly, for present continuous, so when we change present continuous, it will become past continuous. So continuous means there is a verb ending in ing and then there is a helping verb. Is dancing, is singing. That's present continuous. When we change it, it will become past continuous. Was dancing, was singing. Okay? I am playing Mobile Legends, shouted the boy. So we're talking about the boy, I. So you would use he instead. And then am playing. So since I will become he, am will also change. It will become was, singular. He was playing Mobile Legends. Okay? So the boy shouted. Normally, the last few words in the direct speech become the first words in the reported speech. Have you noticed it? Okay. Said Shira said, Timmy told Gia, said Haley said. And this one, the boy shouted what? That, don't forget the word that. Sometimes we can remove that for as long as the meaning is not changed. It's okay. But to follow strictly the rule, we use that. The boy shouted that. Okay, instead of I, it will become he because we're referring to the boy. That he, and then instead of am, it will become was playing Mobile Legends. Okay? There must be agreement and consistency with the pronouns and the subject used. So Shira is female, so we use she. Timmy is male, so we use his. Haley is female, so we use she. And then the boy is a male, so we use he. Remember those rules. Alright? Next. So when we want to report an order or request, so this one is different. So ordering or requesting something. We can use a verb like tell. Tell, and then with a to clause. So there's a format to be followed. Example is, he told me what? To go away. So we use the verb tell, and then it's past form, told, and then the to clause, to go away. Okay? The pattern is verb, told, plus indirect object, don't forget, who receives the direct object, me, and then to clause, to go away. Okay? Example. This is an example of an order. So when we say order, normally, they don't have subjects. We start with a verb. Clean your room. Wash the dishes. So we started from clean and wash. These are orders. So remember this one. So go to your room. Who is being talked about? You. You go to your room, okay? Ordered his father. So his father is the subject here. So subject, he. His father, okay? And then the verb, ordered. Ordered who? Do not forget the indirect object. So verb plus indirect object, him. So how did we know it's him, not her? Because of the pronoun his. So he told his, okay, let me erase this one. Okay, so his will become him. So his father ordered, and then indirect object, him, and then the to clause, to go to his room. Okay. So subject, and then the verb, and then the indirect object, and then the to clause based on the quotation. So let's try. Another. So this one is for request or order. Normal order is used in reported questions like that. That is, the subject comes before the verb. Okay, remember that. For questions, the subject comes before the verb. And it is necessary to use do or did, the emphatic verbs do or did. Let's have an example. Why is he laughing? Asked Kelly. So this one is a question, so it's different from the previous ones. So it says here the subject comes before the verb. So here is the is laughing is our verb phrase. So subject is he. So if we transform it, he is laughing. Okay? So this is how we format it. So it will become subject and then the verb. Kelly asked, and then copy. Why, and then the order. The subject comes first before the verb. That he, and then change the tense, is laughing. Present continuous will become past continuous. Kelly asked why he was laughing. I repeat. Subject and the verb, and then we just copy why, and then we change the order. It says here, it must be in its normal order. So subject plus the verb. Okay? Kelly asked why he was laughing. Alright, there you have it. So the focus of this module will be on changing present simple, past simple, future simple, and present continuous direct speeches to reported or indirect speeches. Plus, two other formats for the order or request and for questions. For order or request, we use certain format, the subject plus the verb plus indirect object plus the to clause. And then for the question, the subject, the verb, and then just copy and then change the order of the subject and the verb and then change the tense. Okay, clear? Now let's proceed to the activities. For the activities, number 1, read each sentence. On the blank before each number, write D if the sentence is a direct speech and R if it is a reported speech. So this one is very easy. Example, she said, I am beautiful, direct. Her mom told her, okay, reported. I go to school every day, so this one is direct. My friend asked, what time will you be there? This one is also direct. And then answer the other activities. Next. Punctuate the following sentences to make them direct speech or indirect speech. Use any colored pen in putting punctuation marks except black. Okay, remember that, okay? Mang Domeng said, I brought foods for the kids. So remember, this one is direct speech since... it's direct speech. So, there must be a comma after the main verb. Mang Domeng said, and then put the direct speech inside quotations or inverted inverted quotations, and then let's notice this one. Notice, period is found inside the quotations. Okay? So you place period here. So I added comma, and then quotation, and then quotation, and then period before quotation. Okay? Another example. Pare Mario replied, comma, so quotation, period, quotation. Number 3, I like to exercise every morning. Said, and then the subject is missing. So just read your learning activity sheet, okay, and answer it. Letter C, change the following orders, requests, and questions from direct speech to reported speech and vice versa. Write your answers on the space provided. So, letter D, analyze the given sentences. Change the direct speech to reported speech and vice versa. Write your answers on the space provided after each statement. Okay, change the direct to reported speech or vice versa. May will do my homework. So my okay. Letter E, construct 5 sentences in direct speech and then 5 sentences in reported speech, and then another 5 for orders, requests, or questions in direct and reported speech. So 5 direct speech, and then 5 orders, so 10. So 10 sentences, I think. 5. Okay. Oh, this one is quite confusing. Just consider the number of spaces. So 5 for direct, 5 for reported speech. Letter F, create a short script of any topic using 5 sentences in direct speech and 5 sentences in reported speech correctly. So it's script, so there must be characters. Nena, and then me. Okay, so you will use here direct and indirect speech. Okay, reflection. Put a check mark on the blank which corresponds to how well you learned the lesson. You try to evaluate yourself. How did you understand the lesson? Did you can you say that you know the difference now between direct and indirect? Is it always, sometimes, or never? Okay, just be honest with your answers. And there you have it. Once again, so we're done with the fifth lesson for the first quarter. So we're just down to the last 2 more lessons, and we're finished with the first quarter. I hope my video was able to help you understand somehow better the lesson. Okay, please do not forget to follow me in my accounts, Instagram, Twitter, FB, and subscribe in my YouTube channel. Okay, take care, have a nice day.